Coleslaw can be tricky, and many restaurants consider it a mere menu afterthought. So where do fans go for that scrumptious slaw satisfaction? Let's start at the bottom and work our way up towards the cream of the crop. Every ranker has to have a last place, and when it comes to fast food coleslaw, there's no question. Raising Cane's races to the bottom. We know fanatics can't get enough of its crunchy chicken tenders and dipping sauces, but when it comes to slaw, there's no getting around the funky flavor and unappetizing whitish mash. A Reddit user summed it up, writing, "A good coleslaw can be magic, and this is not it."
Did you order the coleslaw?
Find yourself another chain if creamy cabbage is on the brain. In our humble opinion, a franchise rolling in starch can't be trusted to offer a halfway edible version. El Pollo Loco, a spice-fueled Mexican chain with close to 500 eateries across the country, offers coleslaw with its charbroiled chicken along with beans, rice, and mashed potatoes. This slaw has nothing in common with the dressing-drenched bowls of slaw found at your neighborhood potluck. It's mixed in a creamy sweet and sour dressing that's thinner and more vinegar-based. The cabbage also claims a coarser chop. Chicken restaurants, heck, most restaurants, don't invest much effort into crafting a delicious coleslaw, and El Pollo Loco is no different. Despite the low price and calorie count of this side dish, the overall execution is disappointing to say the least. The watery consistency and weakly seasoned flavor are a letdown. Flecks of purple cabbage and sliced carrots might be colorful, but where's that tart, lip-puckering zing? Nowhere. Definitely avoid this one if you're picky about texture, or want to taste something. Anything. Zaxby's plays it disappointingly safe with their coleslaw. A single cup starts at 140 calories and features finely diced cabbage and carrot pieces bathed in mayonnaise. The cool crispness, if there is any, will moderate the breading overload of its chicken, but that doesn't mean it'll enhance your meal. One of our biggest gripes is that the veggies are stale. If you've ever gone to a supermarket and seen bagged shredded cabbage that's a little off color, even stinky, then you have some idea of what to expect from Zaxby slaw. No damp clump of cruciferous vegetables is going to get our taste buds revving into gear, no matter how healthy. For shredded slaws that won't make you sad, there are plenty more pining for your attention. Past the coleslaw? At Red Lobster, you'll be passing on it instead. Roughly shredded, it's not the prettiest tumble of greens we've come across, and the dressing coats the cabbage with a slimy slickness. That's before touching on the taste of the sauce, which is your textbook mayonnaise emulsion. The flavor actually brings to mind poppy seed dressing. The bottom line is, Red Lobster slaw is too creamy, too tangy, and basically not pleasant to eat.
Weird. It's like I hate it, but I also can't stop eating it.
Much like the rest of our roundup, it's a carb-free option you can depend on when dining out. But on the flip side, getting some greenery on your plate is kind of a low bar, don't you think? When nutrition's on your mind, broccoli and Brussels sprouts will more than suffice. In terms of caloric value, Pollo Campero's coleslaw ranks at the top with 259 calories for a single serving. However, we have to ask, is it worth the cost? On the one hand, you're getting what's advertised, which is a scoop of minced, sweet and sour green cabbage. On the other hand, taste-wise, it's ordinary. We can appreciate coleslaw's role in bouncing off the heavy, deep-fried flavors of fiery Latin American cuisine. But for a place where you can chow down on yuca fries and plantains, the blandness is staggering. In fact, one Yelp reviewer complained that the coleslaw was plain and tasted like the container it came in.
Lost a container.
Container?
Yeah.
Oh, got a lot of containers. Big day for containers. Got a container coleslaw?
Sure, there's ample mayonnaise, crunch, and the expected sour bite, but really, that's the bare minimum we'd expect from any drive-thru business. While tossing in chopped pepper gives this slaw culinary cohesion, we would have preferred the traditional sliced carrot since it's completely colorless otherwise. Slim Chickens offers fried chicken in many forms, tenders, wings, and sandwiches, across 33 states. Our perception of the coleslaw? It starts off promising but ends up being a fast food flop. Although the slaw is lighter on dressing compared to some of the other sides, the potato salad for instance, it's still lumpy and wet. Basically, the Arkansas-based franchise ain't so slim in the mayonnaise department. Overall, the so-so quality is apparent from the get-go. Remember how dull and watery the last few side offerings have been? Slim Chickens, while not as terrible, doesn't deserve brownie points for its mushy coleslaw. The generic feel also makes a better case for sticking to the chain's other accompaniments, like fried okra, and leaving the shredded slaw to the pros. No fish feast is complete without salty fries and a bed of coleslaw. The seafood at Long John Silver's needs something to offset the grease. And for the most part, the coleslaw is up to the task. The cabbage to carrot ratio is decent, the taste is sweet, and the seasoning gives the slaw a kick of heat and acid. This slaw is also a catch price-wise. A single serving goes for around $2, but the menu's combo-driven format means you're probably spending less than that when it's included in a meal. To a fan on TripAdvisor with discriminating taste, this creamy slaw satisfied the itch, but another reviewer found it merely adequate, comparing the overall profile to KFC. It's hard for fast food coleslaw to stand out. This one is no exception. In the southern United States, a craving for fried chicken will inevitably lead you to Bojangles. Biscuits and bow rounds dominate most discussions of this staple chain, but for the skeptics in our midst, the coleslaw might seal the deal. You've got finely diced cabbage pieces with chopped carrot that stays crispy thanks to a level amount of dressing. Dressing, by the way, that's a proprietary recipe from the restaurant's vault. Plus, it's hard to beat an individual-sized scoop for around $1.50. The slaw has a solid crunch. It's neither soggy nor waterlogged. The sweetness is also decent. In spite of that, we have a bone to pick with the creaminess, which doesn't come off every spoonful. Nobody wants to dip their silverware into cabbage soup, but we think Bojangles could whip in some extra moisture to help it stay fresh and rich. Midwesterners have an insatiable appetite for Swensons' comforting drive-in fare, and while the joint might be prized for its grilled-to-order hamburgers or hamburgs, the coleslaw warrants not only a try, but a carton to go. Shredded to perfection in a creamy dressing, the cabbagey carrot mixture is a great accompaniment to the chain's seafood entrees, the shrimp dinner and fish dinner respectively. At first glance, you'll see that this is standard diner-style coleslaw. The veggies are diced small, and the sauce lightly drizzles every piece with a milky sheen. On the other hand, the portion sizes aren't as generous as other fast food eateries who pile it high, and the seasonings may not agree with some palates. However, we're willing to forgive the skimpier portions, since by all accounts, this is a super fresh choice. This slaw is also a superb value. You're getting bang for your buck. Coleslaw lovers, things are looking up. It's hard to find home-style fried chicken with as much flavor as Popeyes. In our opinion, that also goes for the selection of Cajun sides that come along for the party. People find the coleslaw to be fairly exceptional by fast food standards, and we have a couple of ideas of why that is. The softness and sweetness are properly balanced. The carrots and cabbage are grated well, neither outshining or overwhelming the other. And finally, the acidity fires on all cylinders due to what some foodies believe are pickles. At 140 calories, 190 milligrams of sodium, 12 total carbs, and 9 grams of sugar, the nutritional value is comparable to other drive-thrus. But in terms of pure taste, Popeyes spices up a stale playing field. The relishy undertones make for a nice southern touch that blooms on the tongue. And we like the denser chop of the vegetables. Minced cabbage can turn soggy and mealy, but the heftier pieces allow the zesty dressing to hold its own. While there may be some disagreement about the pickle flavor, Popeyes will make your taste buds sing. You might be surprised that KFC doesn't sweep the coleslaw cook-off, given its position as a global leader in the fried chicken market. But you know what? The Colonel still comes dang close. The slaw is luxuriously thick and creamy, thanks to the signature dressing. And KFC's is one of the few slaws made with minced onions. And here's a fun fact. The coarser style of chopped cabbage was an idea hatched by Harland Sanders himself to retain the dish's crunch. KFC is the gold standard when it comes to drive-thru slaw. It's sweet, rich, and crispy. Heck, you must be doing something right if people are constantly cranking out knockoff recipes. One Reddit user went as far as to declare that KFC actually has the best coleslaw of any fast food restaurant.
Oh God, this slaw is amazing.
The serving is hefty and, as the nutritional guide shows, super sugary. Balancing out the sweetness with a touch more acidity could make it more refreshing, but then again, you'd be missing out on the Southern-style dining experience. Church's Chicken whips up a mean coleslaw, just like your Texan grandmother's, except it's scooped and slung not at a family reunion, but out of hundreds of drive-thru windows. And for a mass-produced side, it's surprisingly tasty. Unlike Popeyes or KFC, Church's keeps the dressing at a minimum, and the flecks of cabbage and carrot slivers are chunky. This showcases the chilled veggies, and in addition to keeping it nice and zesty, it's also easy to fork generous bites into your mouth. As one Reddit user puts it, KFC coleslaw for me always has too much dressing and is too gloppy. Church's coleslaw is cleaner, with more focus on just the crisp cabbage. Exactly. The cleaner feel is what defines the deliciousness of Church's coleslaw. The sweetness doesn't devolve into dessert territory, nor does the cabbage taste bone dry. Rather, the coleslaw is stripped down to its essential elements. It's both tart and crisp, and its resemblance to the nostalgic slaw of cookouts past makes it blue ribbon worthy.
Whoa, how much luckier can a kid get? That'll work.
Church's, gotta love it.
Captain D's traditional fish fry is bolstered by a creamy slaw, and this rendition is top tier with its chunky texture and tart peppery finish. You'd think the saucy dressing would overwhelm the crispness of the cabbage and carrots, but the veggies remain crunchy from the first spoonful to the last. Additionally, Captain D's scoops out ample servings, ensuring you won't run out midway through your catfish dinner. And there's no watery slaw here. Captain D's succeeds in locking in the moisture while retaining the punch of flavorful seasonings and sweetness at the same time. So while the idea of fast food fish may give you pause, this slaw is undeniably super. Thumbs up to Culver's for showing us how fast food coleslaw is done. Crunchiness, creaminess, and zing are what this side staple needs, and Culver's brings all three to the table. The veggies are fresh, and the addition of vinegar to the dressing conjures that perfect combination of acidity and sweetness. Culver's whips up everything on the spot, so it's no surprise that the quality here is better. After their first visit to a Culver's, one TripAdvisor customer wrote, "I had a Reuben and coleslaw, just as good as any deli meal I've had, maybe better." Butter burgers and homemade custard may have dominated the Wisconsin eateries repertoire in the mid-1980s, but the Culver's menu is a comfort food powerhouse today. If it can make an excellent coleslaw, it can make anything.